The Strater is a museum, and we're noted as such in a lot of the journals of different museums. And we've always sort of wanted to be one, and then we just officially became one only by our own decree. We wanted to really go forward with that more, and so we started putting together shadow boxes everywhere that we could figure out a place to put them. We've got some here in this display case. There's a whole bunch of them in the office. And so as I have been involved with the hotel, well, directly 35 years, and before that for another 10 or 15 years, we find all of these fun little artifacts that are sitting down in some little shelf somewhere, and I thought, wow, we're either going to lose them or we have to display them. So as we go along, we create these little places for us to put special items. And as a customer or a guest of the hotel, you'll go around and you'll see things that, I mean, how many hotels have display cases? So as you go through there might be an old-fashioned typewriter, like by the ladies' restroom, which is identical to the one that Louis L'Amour wrote with in his room 222. It was an Underwood typewriter. It was not electric. He used 2 fingers, and he used a typewriter just like that. So it's really fun. Next to one of our offices in the back of the lobby, you'll see an old revolver. And that revolver was found in one of the guest rooms, where it was left by somebody, which we assume was a guest, but we weren't able to determine who it was. It was loaded. And one of the customers that came in had been told about the antiques and all the things that we have in the hotel, and they were on one of the tours. And as they were opening the drawers, the husband says, "Oh, look, honey, they even have props." And he pulled back the hammer and pointed it at the bed and blew a hole right through the bed. So obviously there was a lot of commotion, and I was paged, and we came back. So there's another story for you, and it's sitting in the display case. We have one of the bills in that same display case that came from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which I catered when I was a kid, when Butch and Sundance jumped off into the river. They flew off the one near Baker's Bridge and landed in California. It was a hell of a jump. And so we catered the food for that, and then they blew up the train south of town, and all this money was fluttering around, and that's one of those bills. There's an old rifle. It's a Wesson, Frank Wesson, the brother of the famous Wesson of Smith & Wesson, and he had his own arms company as well. So it's a rather rare 32 rimfire with a drop breech, which means you can only shoot one shot at a time, so you have to be a good shot. Next to it is a La Plata County commemorative Winchester. It's a Model 98 from 1898 when the model came out. This was a gold-plated Winchester Repeating Arms Company from Cheyenne, Wyoming, doing a commemorative La Plata County. They couldn't sell any, and they only had the one. It was the proof. That's the one is in that case. It's quite rare. It's the only one of its kind. We have a shotgun display that was put on 2 years ago. It took a local fellow 40 years to put this shotgun display together. They're all the special kind of metal that's put together like a samurai sword. It's called the Damascus steel. And they melt the steel and hammer it down, fold it over, hammer it again, melt it some more, hammer it down. And they do this, and there's all these striations in the steel. Then they wrap it around a rod and make a barrel out of it, and they trim it off. And so as you look at it, you can see the striations in the barrel. This made it stronger than the kind of steel they used before, so they could use a more powerful load to bring down grouse from a further distance. Everywhere we go, we have these shadow boxes that really are part of the history and the interest of the hotel.